Kody Brown thought he could control the narrative forever, until the courtroom doors slammed shut behind him and Robyn's secrets were dragged into the light. What started as a property dispute ended in betrayal, a child no one expected, and a forged deed that destroyed everything. But it wasn't the judge's ruling that silenced the courtroom. It was Kody's next move. The one no one saw coming. Do you believe Kody knew the truth all along? Or was he just another pawn in Robyn's plan? Drop your theory in the comments right now. Let's see who saw the twist coming. The courtroom smelled like fresh wood polish and old sweat. Cameras clicked. Kody straightened his collar, refusing to look at Robyn. For years, she'd been his soulmate, the one who supposedly saved him from the chaos of plural marriage. But today, Kody sat 3 chairs away from her, hands clenched, and jaw locked so tight his molars could have cracked. Robyn, usually composed, clutched a crumpled tissue and whispered to her attorney. Her eyeliner had already smudged into 2 dark trails. She wasn't crying for sympathy. No, this was panic. Because for the first time since they signed those Flagstaff property deeds, she wasn't in control. Janelle sat directly behind them, her arms crossed. Mary leaned forward, laser-focused, lips tight. Christine was absent, but her name lingered in the air like smoke from a candle just blown out. Today wasn't just about a forged deed. Today was about a child. A child Robyn had spent years pretending didn't exist. The judge shuffled through a manila folder, took a deep breath, and looked up. Before we begin with property documentation, the court has received a confidential submission regarding custodial records and amended birth certifications. That was the moment Robyn's hand slipped off the table. Something shattered the silence in that courtroom, and it wasn't just the truth. It was the moment Robyn realized she was finally cornered. Kody blinked. "I'm sorry." "What?" he asked, confused. "Custodial what?" The judge ignored him. He nodded toward the bailiff, who delivered a sealed brown envelope to the prosecution. Janelle leaned to Mary and whispered, "She never told him." "Not even once?" Mary didn't respond. Her hand gripped the edge of the bench, knuckles white. From the front row, a woman stood. She was no older than 30. Tall, pale, long curly hair. Holding a file. All eyes shifted. She didn't speak. She just approached the witness stand as if she had been waiting her entire life to do so. The judge nodded. "You may proceed, Miss Harper." Miss Harper's voice rang out, calm and sharp. "Your Honor, my name is Sarah Harper. I am here to testify not only as the mother of a child, but as a victim of identity manipulation, financial concealment, and deliberate exclusion from a custody arrangement that was never legally terminated." Robyn's face drained of color. Just when you think you know who Robyn is, another woman steps forward with a story that rewrites everything. Kody looked between Robyn and Sarah, lips slightly parted. "Wait, what is this? Who is she talking about?" The file was opened. A birth certificate was displayed on the overhead projector. The name on it didn't match any child Kody had acknowledged. But the father? Kody Brown. Sarah cleared her throat. "Your Honor, this is my daughter. Her name is Ayla Grace Harper. She is 11 years old. And Kody Brown is her biological father." Chaos erupted. Kody stood. "This is a lie. I don't even know this woman." Robyn didn't stand. She didn't move. She just stared straight ahead, as if a glacier had fallen on her chest. The judge slammed the gavel. "Mr. Brown, one more outburst like that, and I will hold you in contempt." Janelle's jaw dropped. Mary leaned in. The courtroom buzzed like a beehive cracked open. Sarah didn't flinch. "I met Kody in 2011. At a conference in Salt Lake. He was with a camera crew. I didn't know he was married. He told me he was recently separated. I was 23. I became pregnant 2 months later. When I contacted him, he never responded." The judge held up a form. "And this DNA report? This is recent?" Sarah nodded. "Requested by your office, sealed for court presentation. The result confirms with 99.997% probability that Kody Brown is Ayla's father." Kody sat down hard. He didn't look at Robyn. He looked at the wall behind her, eyes wide like he was watching his legacy crumble in real time. In just 5 minutes, the courtroom turned from a property hearing into a paternity bombshell. And it was only the beginning. Robyn finally spoke. Quiet, broken. "I tried to protect him." Mary raised an eyebrow. Janelle stood up. "To protect him?" She scoffed. "You buried a child, Robyn." The judge ordered a 10-minute recess, but no one moved. They couldn't. The air had thickened with secrets and betrayal. Kody turned toward Robyn. "Is it true?" His voice was hoarse. Robyn didn't answer. Because how do you confess to forging a life? The file didn't just include birth records. It included bank transfers, handwritten letters, screenshots of texts, and, most importantly, a notarized deed signed by Kody and Robyn transferring ownership of the Coyote Pass East lot. The problem? It was dated 2 months before Ayla was born, and Robyn signed it Robyn Harper, a forged deed, a fake name, and a secret child. And now the paper trail was starting to surface. The judge called court back into session. Due to the emergence of these records, I am freezing all Flagstaff assets until the matter of deed validity and custody is resolved. Gasps again. Kody blinked. You're freezing what? Everything, the judge replied. Land, shared accounts, the Arizona house, until the truth is fully uncovered. And that's when Kody turned. He didn't yell. He didn't scream. He stood, walked to Robyn and whispered 3 words that sent shivers through the entire courtroom. Get out now, Robyn. Flinched like she'd been slapped. But Kody wasn't finished. I want you out of my house by tonight. What happens when the man who defended her for a decade finally sees who she is? You cut off the lights and watch the mask fall. The gavel slammed again, but the silence stayed longer this time. And as the courtroom cleared, Robyn was still sitting, still holding the same tissue. Only now, her hands were shaking. She had one more secret, one more card, but Kody had just declared war. The court was recessed, but no one left. Cameras weren't allowed to record inside the courtroom, but you wouldn't have known that by the media frenzy outside. Phones vibrated with headlines already spreading like wildfire. Secret child rocks Brown family case. Kody paced like a lion behind the glass doors of the courthouse lobby, his suit jacket off, fists curled. Every step he took echoed like thunder on the cold tile floor. Robyn hadn't spoken a word since he told her to get out. She sat motionless on the bench, tissue in hand. Mascara now streaked down both cheeks. Her lawyer whispered something into her ear, but her eyes were fixed on the doors, on the exit. But leaving meant facing reporters. And facing reporters meant she'd be alone. And Robyn Brown had never survived without Kody. Every courtroom has its moment where reality splits from illusion. This was Robyn's. Back inside, the judge returned, and so did the fire. Kody sat with his arms folded tightly against his chest. Sarah, the mother of Ayla, was already in place. The judge looked up, calm but firm. We are reconvening to examine the submitted property deeds. But first, the court must address the conflicting notarization on the East Lot transfer. Ms. Harper, would you kindly explain how your name, Robyn Harper, came to appear on this legal document? Robyn inhaled sharply. I didn't know that was submitted, she stammered. Sarah didn't flinch. Your Honor, that signature was used on a Chase bank account Kody opened for her in 2011. She used the name Robyn Harper for years, especially when she thought no one would trace it. That deed isn't just forged. It's a map, the judge raised an eyebrow. A map to what? To every hidden asset they buried under aliases. The truth wasn't just hiding in the paperwork. It was buried in the names they thought no one would question. At that moment, Janelle stood. She didn't wait for permission. I have something, she said, and her voice didn't waver. Mary turned toward her. Robyn's lawyer objected, but the judge, curious now, nodded. Proceed, Mrs. Brown. Janelle walked up with a manila folder and handed it to the clerk. I requested bank records 6 months ago. I had a feeling something was wrong. Look at the wire transfers. The name attached to the recipient account is R. Harper. But the signature on the withdrawal slip? It's Robyn Sullivan Brown. Same handwriting. Different legal identity. The clerk handed it over to the judge, who studied the documents carefully. Over $240,000 in transfers? He muttered. Janelle spoke louder. From our family trust, disguised, and signed away while Kody was filming in Utah for 3 weeks. Kody's head snapped up. Wait, 3 weeks? His voice was shaking now. What year? 2014, Janelle said. While Christine and I were trying to refinance the Vegas houses, Kody leaned back, his mouth parted. He turned slowly toward Robyn. You said you needed that money for Aries therapy. Robyn looked down. She didn't answer. This wasn't just deception. It was the unraveling of a decade-long manipulation dressed as motherhood. Christine entered the courtroom quietly. No announcement. No warning. She just walked in, head held high, wearing a deep green coat, and carrying a white envelope. Everyone turned. Even Robyn finally reacted. Her body recoiling like a ghost had stepped through the doors. The judge didn't need to ask. Ms. Brown, he said. Do you have something for the court? Christine nodded. I've had this for 3 years, she said, holding up the envelope. I didn't come forward because I was scared. But inside, a thumb drive and a notarized affidavit. The affidavit was signed by a man named Harold Crane. Who is this? The judge asked. A mobile notary. Hired by Robyn in 2020. He came to the house thinking he was helping process an updated will. Instead, he witnessed Robyn signing documents as Robyn Harper while Kody was out of town. He called me 2 weeks later. He was suspicious, and he left a copy of the drive in my mailbox. Robyn's lawyer jumped up. Objection! Chain of custody! The judge silenced her. I will decide the admissibility. He inserted the drive. The courtroom screen came to life. Black and white security footage, the Brown House kitchen, the timestamp read, April 12th, 2020, 2:43 p.m. There was Robyn, hair tied up, reading from a printed script. The audio wasn't clear, but the words, I authorize transfer, and a full air of, were unmistakable. Then, Christine's voice came from the recording. She didn't know the camera was on, Christine whispered in the courtroom. She forgot Kody had hidden that one behind the stove. It was no longer about what Robyn said. It was about what she thought no one would see. Kody looked broken. He slumped, lower in his seat. He wasn't angry anymore. He was numb as the video played. It showed Robyn signing 2 documents, then placing a small envelope into her purse. The screen went black. Janelle whispered. That's when she took it. The original deed. The judge looked stunned. Is this the only copy? Christine nodded. The hard copy burned in a fire in 2021. But she had it scanned. She used that copy to transfer the land, away from all of us. The courtroom went silent. Then Kody stood again. But this time, he didn't explode. His voice cracked. You lied to me, he said, looking straight at Robyn. You used me. And Robyn? She finally cracked. I had to, she said, tears falling freely now. You were going to leave me. You were already slipping away after Vegas. I did it for our future. Kody stepped back. He shook his head. You didn't do it for us, he muttered. You did it for you. He looked at the judge. Put me under oath. I'll testify. I'll tell you everything I know. In just one session, the family that built their empire on loyalty collapsed under the weight of one forged document. But the judge wasn't done. One more witness has submitted a sealed statement, he said. We'll read it into record tomorrow. He closed the folder. Everyone in the room stared. It's from Ayla, the child, Robyn gasped. No, she's not supposed to. The judge cut her off. She requested it be read publicly. The courtroom sat frozen. Even the reporters stopped typing, because what could an 11-year-old possibly say that Robyn didn't want the world to hear? The courtroom felt different the next morning. The light through the high windows was dull, gray, almost metallic, like the whole building knew something irreversible was about to happen. Kody arrived first, wearing the same black suit from yesterday. He hadn't shaved. He looked hollow, like sleep hadn't dared visit him. Robyn came next, escorted by her attorney and a producer from TLC, an odd mix of power and panic. The cameras weren't allowed inside, but she looked ready for them anyway, lips trembling, posture rehearsed. She had spent years perfecting the art of crying without losing composure. Today, that mask was slipping. Sarah Harper sat quietly near the witness stand, her hands folded. Beside her sat a girl, 11 years old. Small frame, auburn hair, big brown eyes that carried too many questions for her age. Ayla. The judge adjusted his glasses. Court is now in session. We will begin with the minor's statement, as submitted and verified by her guardian ad litem. You could hear hearts beating. Even the air seemed to stop, moving. Sometimes it's not the adults who break the silence. It's the child who's lived with it the longest. The bailiff pressed play on a small audio recorder, Ayla's. Voice was soft, clear, but trembling. I don't know if I should be scared or brave. Mommy says people lie to protect love. But Miss Sarah says love shouldn't need protecting from the truth. Robyn covered her mouth instantly. A quiet gasp escaped. I used to watch the show with my friends. Daddy's face was there on TV. Mommy told me I couldn't tell anyone that he was my dad. She said he had other kids who wouldn't understand. But I didn't want to be his secret. I wanted to be his reason. Kody closed his eyes. That single sentence shattered every wall he'd built around his guilt. The recording continued. I found pictures in Mommy's drawer. Letters with his name. and papers with other names that weren't hers. One said Robyn Harper, another said Kody Pass Transfer. I asked what it meant, and she yelled. She said I wasn't allowed to ask grown-up questions. The judge glanced at Robyn. Her shoulders shook. Last year I sent Daddy a birthday card. I wrote my real name, but it came back in the mail. Returned to Zender. He never saw it. I think Mommy sent it back herself. Gasps rippled through the room. I don't want anyone to fight anymore. I just want him to know I exist. The audio clicked off. Nobody moved. There are moments when truth doesn't need evidence. It just needs a child brave enough to speak. Kody leaned forward, voice barely audible. She sent that card herself? Robyn didn't answer. Her mascara streaked across her cheeks like black lightning. The judge exhaled slowly. Mrs. Brown, the court will require testimony regarding these letters and financial documents. Do you wish to continue under oath? Robyn wiped her face. I need 5 minutes, but the judge didn't grant it. You've had 5 years. The room trembled. Robyn finally stood. Fine, you want the truth? Her voice cracked. He promised me. He said he'd never let me end up like the others. Kody's eyes widened. Robyn, don't, she pointed at him. You told me Christine would take everything. You said the only way to save our home was to sign it under another name. You told me Harper was safer. Kody shot up from his chair. I said use it for one account, not forged deeds. When love turns into survival, the line between victim and accomplice vanishes. The judge's gavel hit hard. Enough. Both of you will refrain from direct confrontation. But Robyn wasn't done. You think this is just about property? She yelled. He made me choose between a child and a future. You think I wanted to lie? I had to protect her. Sarah stood up, voice steady. Protect her? You erased her! The tension cracked like glass. The judge signaled the bailiff. Court will recess for 1 hour. Mrs. Brown, you are to remain under supervision. Mr. Brown, you will provide a full affidavit detailing your involvement. Kody nodded, defeated. Yes, Your Honor. The gavel fell again, but the whispers didn't stop. Reporters outside were already screaming through the courthouse glass. The story had escaped. Kody walked past Robyn without a word. She reached out, but he didn't look back. In that moment, the man who once built a family out of faith walked away from the woman who built her world on a lie. Outside, Christine waited. She didn't say, I told you so. She didn't smile. She simply handed Kody a small photo. Ayla's first-grade picture, smiling with missing teeth. She deserved to know you, Christine whispered. Now she does. He took the photo in shaking hands. For a second, it looked like he might break. Then his phone buzzed. Unknown number. He answered. The voice on the other end was male, older, trembling. Mr. Brown? This is Harold Crane, the notary. You should know there's more. The document she forged wasn't the only one. Kody froze. What do you mean? She refiled the Kody Pass Trust 2 years ago and added another heir. Another what? Another child. The line went dead. Kody stood there, phone shaking in his hand. The photo of Ayla fluttering in the wind. The silence after that call was louder than any outburst. Kody stood frozen on the courthouse steps, gripping the phone like it had just delivered a death sentence. Behind him, reporters were still shouting. Flashes exploded, but he wasn't hearing them. He was hearing that name. Another heir, another child. Inside, court was moments away from resuming. Robyn sat pale, hunched like her own body betrayed her. The mask was fully off now, and underneath wasn't just fear. It was shame. She hadn't told him. Not about Ayla, and not about the second one. Christine stood in the gallery again, this time beside Janelle. Even Mary had stopped pretending she was neutral. And for the first time, it wasn't just a battle of land or money, it was about blood. This wasn't about secrets anymore. This was about how many lives were rewritten behind closed doors. The judge returned, folder in hand. We have a notarized testimony submitted this morning from Mr. Harold Crane regarding an updated trust filing from 2023. Due to the weight of the accusation, I've decided it must be addressed immediately. He looked at Kody. Then Robyn. According to this statement, Robyn Brown filed an amended beneficiary clause naming not 1, but 2 minors as partial heirs to the family trust. The document includes updated allocations for Kody Pass parcels and remaining Flagstaff liquid assets. Kody's hands trembled. What are the names? He whispered. The judge hesitated. Ayla Grace Harper, he said. And Dayton Elias Sullivan. Gasps, then silence. Then, Robyn collapsed. No warning. No time to catch her breath. Her body hit the courtroom floor like a sack of bricks. The bailiff ran forward. Paramedics were called, but she was conscious, breathing, just stunned. Tears streamed down her cheeks as she lay on the floor, whispering something over and over. He was supposed to know after I died. That wasn't a defense. That was a confession wrapped in grief. Janelle looked horrified. Christine covered her mouth. Kody stood. "Dayton?" he said, confused. "Why Dayton?" Christine answered before Robyn could. "Because that deed you signed after Vegas?" Robyn, still on the floor, muttered, "I needed to make sure they were taken care of if you left me." The courtroom spiraled. Her lawyer tried to intervene. "Objection, Your Honor. This is emotionally prejudicial." But the judge raised his hand. "Overruled. The trust documents are clear. The question now is, were they legally altered and were signatures forged?" Sarah stood. "I believe I can answer that." Everyone turned. She walked forward, file in hand. Calm, measured, deadly. "I subpoenaed the original digital audit logs from the trust platform. Every time a user logs in or updates fields, it records a digital fingerprint." The judge nodded. "And?" Sarah opened the file. All changes, every edit, every submission were made from a computer inside the Flagstaff house. Specifically, Robyn's home office. When the digital trail matches the motive, the forgery isn't just suspicion, it's proof with a timestamp. Kody looked like he might be sick. He gripped the rail in front of him. "You signed my name?" Robyn finally sat upright. Her voice was raw. "You weren't going to protect them. You didn't even fight for the Vegas equity, do you remember that? I begged you to hold on to it. And you gave it away. I had to act." Kody's face was crimson now. "By stealing my signature? By lying about a second heir?" He paused, then narrowed his eyes. "Or is there a third?" That broke her. "No," she screamed. "No, I swear, it was just Dayton and Ayla." The judge slammed the gavel. "Order! Order in this courtroom!" But there was no more order. Christine stepped forward again. "I have something else," she said. "Another envelope." The judge sighed. "Does this ever end?" She handed it to the clerk. "This one comes from Mykelti. She's not here today, but she had questions about Robyn's legal actions years ago. When we checked Ayla's birth records, something strange came up." The judge opened the envelope. "Read in silence, then..." He flinched. "This is unexpected." He looked up. "There is a second Ayla, same birthday. Same hospital, same mother." Robyn's face went ghost white. Christine's voice cut like a blade. "You switched the certificates. You registered Ayla under a different ID, then altered the second to hide the original from court traceability. Why? Because Ayla's actual birth certificate listed Kody Brown as father. And that copy was sealed. It wasn't just one identity Robyn forged, it was an entire trail of existence." The judge looked exhausted. "This case will now escalate into a criminal hearing. Forgery, custodial manipulation, fraudulent real estate documents, and trust tampering." Kody sat. He looked at nothing. He was somewhere else now, not in the courtroom. Not even in this decade. He was thinking about every decision, every signed check, every ignored gut instinct. Christine approached him gently. "I told you back in Vegas, don't mix marriage and business. You thought I was bitter. But Robyn, she didn't just marry you. She buried you in paperwork." Kody didn't blink, didn't speak, because he knew she was right. Sometimes the betrayal isn't just personal, it's financial, legal, permanent. As Robyn was helped into her seat, her hands were cuffed, no words, no screaming, just silence and a slow breath. "Your bail is pending review," the judge said. "Until then, you are remanded into custody for fraud investigation." Gasps, and still, no reaction, only tears. Christine watched her go. Janelle turned away. "And Kody?" He finally looked down at Ayla's photo again. Just a little girl, smiling, and next to that photo, the birth certificate listing a name he never knew existed until yesterday, Ayla Grace. Harper Brown, the last thing Robyn ever forged, was the truth itself. 2 days had passed. Robyn remained in custody. No cameras, no statements. TLC was silent. Her legal team filed an emergency motion for bail, citing emotional instability and parental obligations, but the court wasn't swayed. The judge had seen enough instability to last the rest of his term. Outside the courthouse, a crowd had formed. Fans, protesters, reporters. Some held signs defending Robyn. Others held signs calling her a fraud. Inside, Kody sat in the gallery. Not beside anyone, not even near his own attorney. He was alone, not just in position but in presence. The weight of it all had finally caught up. Not the TV headlines, not the social media storms, but the fact that 2 children bore his name and one of them had never heard him say it. He watched Christine from across the room. Her arms were folded, but her face wasn't smug. She wasn't enjoying this. Not really, because today's evidence wasn't hers. It came from someone else, someone unexpected. Every courtroom has one final witness that no one anticipates, but when they speak, the walls crack open. The judge entered. We will now address the digital voice recording submitted anonymously to the court clerk yesterday afternoon. He held up a small flash drive in a clear plastic evidence bag. This recording, if authenticated, may establish intent, identity manipulation, and custodial fraud depending on its contents. He turned to the clerk. Play the file. A static hum filled the speakers. Then Robyn's voice, clear, angry, desperate. He doesn't get to leave me. I carried this whole thing for years, kept his name clean. If he wants to walk, fine. But that land? That trust? It's going to Dayton and Ayla. I already filed the new documents. Christine and Janelle can burn. Gasp. You want me to confess? You think I care what Christine finds in the safe? She doesn't even know the second drive exists. She thinks she's clever, but she didn't raise those kids alone. I helped cover his back. I deserve everything I took. The audio paused. Everyone stared. Mary leaned forward. The second drive? She whispered. Christine's expression turned stone cold. She mouthed one word. Safe. Secrets don't just live on paper. They live in the words we say when we think no one's listening. The judge asked quietly. Who submitted this file? The clerk checked a form. No name, Your Honor, but the envelope was postmarked from Flagstaff, with a printed return address from the Brown home. Gasps, Janelle stood up. Check the metadata, she said sharply. That voice memo? If it's from Robyn's phone, it'll have a device signature. The clerk nodded, typing quickly. Then, confirmation. Recorded from an iPhone 13. Serial ending in 2F7. Registered to Kody Brown. The judge nodded. And the app used to record it? Standard Voice Memos app. Uploaded to iCloud Backup. Timestamp. March 13, 2023. 10:41 p.m. Kody's head shot up. That's the night she said she was at counseling. Christine turned. Someone had her phone unlocked. Someone who knew where her backups were. Someone close enough to be invisible. And that's when the courtroom doors opened. Aurora walked. In silent, pale, hands clenched, Christine looked stunned. Janelle blinked. Kody's eyes welled up instantly. Aurora? She walked forward, stood in front of the judge. Her voice was small, but unwavering. I recorded it, she said. I found the file. I sent it. A ripple moved through the room. Even Robyn's attorney dropped her pen. The judge sat up straight. You did what? Aurora took a deep breath. I didn't know what she was doing until she left her laptop open one night. The drive folder said Backup B. When I clicked it, I found the voice memo. She didn't mean for anyone to hear it. She thought she deleted it, but it stayed in the iCloud. I found it again. I kept it. She paused, her voice shaking. She lied to everyone, even me. When the lie becomes too heavy, it's often the children who are left holding the truth. Robyn's face was red with panic behind the glass of her holding room. She couldn't yell. Couldn't stop it. She saw her daughter, her loyal, silent daughter, now standing against her. The judge's voice dropped. Miss Brown, are you willing to testify further? Aurora nodded. Yes, but not as her daughter. As a witness. Christine covered her mouth. Mary had tears streaming down her face. Janelle whispered, Finally. The judge leaned back. In light of this new evidence, the state will now move forward with formal charges against Robyn Brown. Forgery, custody interference, trust fraud, identity tampering, and conspiracy to conceal material assets. The list kept growing. Robyn slumped in her chair, burying her face into her hands. Kody couldn't even look at her anymore. His eyes stayed on Aurora. I didn't know, he said quietly. I never knew you were in pain. Aurora wiped a tear. I didn't either. Until I stopped pretending I wasn't. She turned to leave the stand. But before she did, she placed something on the judge's table. Another flash drive. This one, she said, is what Christine never found. My mom kept it hidden in the back of a photo album. It has audio files, spreadsheets, a scanned copy of the prenup between her and Kody, the one she claimed didn't exist. Christine nearly fell out of her seat. What prenup? What if the final lie wasn't just financial? but legal. A hidden contract that stripped the other wives of their rights before Robyn even said, "I do." The judge held the drive in his hand like it weighed 50 pounds. "We will reconvene tomorrow to review this new evidence," he said. And if what this contains is real, this case won't just be civil anymore. It'll be federal. The gavel slammed, court adjourned, and the war had only just begun. By the time morning arrived, the courthouse was surrounded, not by police, not by fans, but by a wall of silence that felt like the calm before a Category 5 explosion. Everyone, from courtroom clerks to security, knew what was coming today. Aurora's secret flash drive had been verified overnight. Metadata confirmed it originated from Robyn's laptop, matched her iCloud account, and contained legal documents that had never passed through court. Not once. The courtroom was packed. Not a single empty seat. Christine